I call the March 12th meeting of the Fayette County Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If you'd all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bev, if you could do the roll call, please.
Okay. Carrie Steele.
Here.
Bill Crawford.
Here.
James Fisher.
Here.
Ruby.
Here.
Jason.
Yes.
Bill McDaniel.
Present.
Colin.
Here.
And myself.
All right, full slate of attendance tonight. Wonderful. We have a new board member tonight, so if you take a moment to introduce yourself to our viewing audience.
My name is James Fisher. I've lived in Connersville my whole life. Everybody calls me Jeff. I have a wife that's Julie Fisher, and we have 4 children.
Okay, and what do you do for a living?
I own Fisher Construction, build houses. I've done construction since I was 18 years old.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. All right, moving on, we have the next, it'd be the approval of our minutes from our meeting February 12th.
I have a quick change to make on the minutes.
Go ahead.
On item number 8, Mr. O'Neill isn't on the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm not sure who, I don't remember who seconded it, but since he's not here.
Yeah.
Other than that, I move to approve the minutes with that correction.
I'll have to look through the tapes and find out who
Yep.
seconded that one.
I can fix that.
All right. So with that amendment, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So, I'll go ahead and scratch Dick.
No, wait, this is the wrong one.
Excuse me, Bev.
I'm
There
sorry.
we go.
All right. Scratch Dick out of there.
Yeah.
All right. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next, public hearing. We have Iris A. Grubb before us tonight, requesting temporary uses. So if the property at 2619 East Hudson Street, correct? All right, well, if you can come up and tell us a little bit what your
Okay.
concerns are and such.
And if I could explain one thing
Okay.
about this to everybody that's out there and board members, is that what Mr. and Mrs. Grubb are asking for is essentially it's an in-law unit, which is something we don't have specifically called out in the zoning code. Now, the thing that we have closest to an in-law, well, this one's, it's kind of flexible, number 17, which was appropriate. But number 9 is the closest, but it's also, some of you have been around when we've had the temporary use for a mobile home for healthcare of a blood relative. This is a similar, really the same purpose, but it's actually with the conversion of a garage into a dwelling unit, temporary conversion of a garage for a dwelling unit. And so this is actually more appropriate, but I think it's something that probably ought to be brought up to the area plan commission about looking at having a temporary use that specifically relates to the in-law units. Because right now we've had in-law units, but they've either been an addition or they've been a conversion on the inside of the house. Those don't need anything like this. But since it's converting a structure, in this case it's working out to say a second dwelling unit on a property, that's why this is being done. And I have a suspicion there's probably a greater need for this than in Fayette County than we're aware of.
Probably so.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yep.
One of my biggest concerns already is it's more about like our internal, the way our rules are written, not anything to do with
Yeah.
your specific situation. But one of the things that concerns me is the maximum of 2 years. In our motion, regardless of what we do, that 2 years worries me. I mean, because at the end of 2 years, did they come back before
No,
us?
well,
Are they-
what it
are
could
they
be,
forced
well, what it could
to
be,
reconvert? I mean, that's where I'm,
because, well, what we have, for example, is, okay, we know that the way it's set up with for the mobile home, that they have to come back. But, for example, someone, say, at the end of 2 years, that, say, could be part of a motion, could be, say, okay, so if it's still required at the end of the 2 years, then have Mr. and Mrs. Grubb bring in the letter from the doctor stating that it's still necessary. Then at the end of the period of time, it could be, say, converting out of being hopefully it'll be a long time, but when it's no longer necessary, would then be to convert it back, whether it's into convert it out of being a dwelling unit, since we're only allowed one dwelling unit on a residential, single-family residential property. So because we still I've had people they convert garages, and some people specifically build small pole structures for basically their little personal workshops. So something like that, I mean, that's a permit, that'd be a permitted use because it isn't a dwelling, that type of thing.
okay,
But the main one is the residential unit, that's the one.
okay.
No, this particular unit's actually already an apartment, right?
Yeah, it's what happened was with Mr. and Mrs. Grubb, they found out that, they weren't aware that they had to do this. And then things came up and it's like, oh my gosh. So that's what we're doing with them to get them legal with this under the zoning code. So that they aren't flying under the radar or anything along those lines.
Did you actually inspect it any?
Oh, I haven't inspected anything yet, no.
'Cause I'd feel at least more comfortable if we included that in the motion, if we make a motion to accept it, that you do, physically inspect.
Make sure that it's, for example, that everything was done and it meets the necessary codes, that type of
Emergency
thing.
exit codes,
Yeah,
and electrical.
electrical codes, okay. But yeah, something like that.
We could include that in the motion, right?
Yeah, that would be something appropriate, yeah. Because since if they're converting beforehand, they would need a permit. And say, if this was a fresh one, they would then need to get the remodel permit to remodel into a dwelling unit. Then everything they'd be doing with the electric, anything with the plumbing, the kitchens and all the receptacles would get inspected at that.
Because I'm a little worried about the egress on the
Okay,
windows.
okay, all right.
All right. Ms. Grubb, explain the situation a little bit, because we've got paperwork, but our viewing audience doesn't, so.
Okay, my mother and father-in-law lived at Marcy Court, and their home was small, not handicap accessible. And my father-in-law just turned 90, and my mother-in-law 79, and with their debilitating health, they were falling all the time. And the closest person that was available was my husband and me. And then there's other son, Michael, he lives in Brookville. So we were having to drive over there because Shafter, which is the husband, couldn't get her up. She's the one that falls a lot. And so, and then getting emergency crews in there to get them out. They can't get wheelchairs, gurneys. So they talked about either going to a nursing home or having something converted. So we have this huge garage that we weren't doing anything with. So we got it converted over to a handicap accessible home, that both the bathroom's handicap, everything in there is a handicap. We just changed the interior, the plumbing was there, the heat was there, the electric was there. Only thing we did is we did the internal walls and made handicap doors so that can get the wheelchairs in, and then put in an extra door so that they have a door in the bedroom, the door in the living room, and so that they can get wheelchairs in if they need to have medical assistance, and that we're close by. They're just literally a driveway away. It's because of their medical needs. They couldn't take care of their house anymore. And this way, we're right there. So that's why we converted it, to keep them out of a nursing home.
That's understandable. Anybody have any questions of our petitioner?
Well, if we do make this, I'd like to read it. Look for the smoke detectors too.
Okay.
Make sure they're all wired.
Hardwired.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions for Grubbs? If not, do we have a motion?
I move to accept the petition for a temporary use as a mix of number 17 and number 9 in our code for a maximum of 2 years, with the understanding that as long as you provide the executive director notice at the end of that 2 years, if you still need it, all you have to do is bring in, verification from a doctor, and then it will automatically extend for 2 years. And that before, are they already there?
Yeah, they're there. Both of them are living there now.
So I want to put some kind of time frame for you to go out and do the inspections, for, as Bill's request, 30 days, 60 days.
30 days would be reasonable.
So within the next 30 days, provide Bill access to be able to do inspection of electric, plumbing,
Big one's gonna be the smoke detectors.
smoke detectors, things like
Yeah,
that.
and then we'd have to look at the way to deal with the emergency egress issue.
If she has that door in there,
That's probably.
Yeah, does the bedroom open
Yeah, both of them have access.
directly outside?
Right.
That meets the requirement.
I didn't know what that second door was.
That's their bedroom.
Beautiful, that takes care of that one.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
That's my motion.
All right. Did you get all that, Bev?
Yeah.
Do we need to add
That's what the
anything?
video's for.
Do
Bill?
we need to add anything as far as, let's say they move out or something happens to them, that they can't make it an apartment for just
Yeah,
anybody?
that can be added right there. And at the end of the period of time, it could be that, and then it has to be converted out from being a dwelling unit.
At the end of,
Say, when
Once
it's
they
no
move
longer
out.
needed.
right.
But that's part of the code already.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't feel like that has to be part of the condition if that's already part of the, and if you, I may be talking out of turn, but if for some reason you do decide you want that to be an apartment, you would have to come back before us to make that request, if it's even possible. I mean, the zoning code may just say no, it's, no. But
Does that satisfy your point, Bill?
Yeah, so as long as like if they get out, move out or whatever, if you're gonna make it into an apartment. like
You
she
have to
said,
come
just
back.
Come back in, because there are other codes involved in that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll make it, I'll second the motion.
All right, thank you, Ruby. Bev, you can do the vote.
Carrie,
Yes.
Bill Crawford,
Yes,
Jeff Fisher,
Yes.
Ruby? Yes. Jason?
Yes. Awesome, unanimous, wonderful. All right, so you need to coordinate with Bill for the inspections to be done, and then,
The only thing I ask is if you could do it on a Monday. I'm off on Mondays, that's my
Yeah,
only day.
well, we can make the arrangements for that with a Monday. And I do have one question, the important question is gonna be okay, when you did this conversion, are the smoke detectors a hardwire with a battery backup?
electrical.
I don't want to say yes
Okay.
without actually knowing for a fact.
Yeah, now, that's what's required for the smoke detector. When you do something like that anymore, it's been ages since you could have just strictly a battery smoke detector. So what it is when they say it's a hardwired smoke detector, it means that there's a separate electric circuit that goes to all the smoke detectors. They're interrelated, so that when one goes off, they all go off.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, not a problem. If it's not, then we'll make it
Then
happen.
if it's not, then that will have to be done.
Not a problem.
But we can verify that, then when I do inspect, then you'll have a period of time where, you'll then need to take care of that.
No problem.
So if it isn't beforehand, before you call me out there, you can take care of it if you want to, before I'm out there,
That'll be fine.
all right?
Yep.
And that's for their safety.
Yeah.
It's not just to pick on you, it's just.
No, yeah, that's fine. And we're all gonna, I'm also getting them a life alert system so that they have in their house. And I'm also getting one for my mother, just because I work during the day. And that way, if I'm not there, they still have access to emergency if they fall. That's the biggest thing.
all right, very good. All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Next item of business is our director's report, which, here it is.
I said, I knew I passed them out.
Yeah,
I move to accept the director's report.
make a motion to accept. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, Bill, for that. Any other items of business or a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
Ruby, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.